I mean, we still need an introduction video. Wonder if any heroes out there could make us an introduction video.
We need an introduction video, but we also need like a song, like an intro song, a theme song for FFIB to go on the video.
We should steal like Two Bears, One Cave's song and go with like Jay and Tom, Tom and Jay.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Something.
We need a hero to compose it and then record it and then put it to maybe some animation.
I want some animation like like The More You Know, like the shooting star. I want some animation like that.
Yeah. I was thinking more like do you remember the Leo Hardcastle claymations with the cat that was like the cat was like a secret agent and he'd run around and shooting other cats and they like get blast and they fall like the clay just like explodes everywhere.
No, but I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Lee Hardcastle was a big deal on YouTube like 10 years ago. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. This is FFIB. I am Jason, and that is Tom, and we're Finger Flicked in Box. And it's a very special box today, one that is filled with giveaway, as well as future giveaways and some new stuff. I think Tom probably Tom probably gave it away earlier if you follow his Instagram. And of course, never missing a beat. Blake Vartanian suggested Boss Tones. Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Dickie can make us a song. Yeah. Oh, back to the comments. Happy holidays, Millie Club. That's right. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Random squirrel moment here for yours truly. Yeah, Tom, it's kind of a theme today, don't we?
A little bit. So I wonder if GP Knives is watching right now.
I hope so. I believe that Jamie said she would be watching the show. So why don't we talk a little bit about GP Knives?
Sure thing.
You guys might remember the Rex 76 PM2, the brick.
I do remember such things.
Yeah, that knife sold out quick, didn't it, Tom?
I think it was about 36 hours, and that's perfect. If I had to choose,
like the perfect time, isn't it?
Between 24 and 48 hours, I think if an exclusive can last that long, everybody who's like really cares about it has had a chance to get one.
I agree.
Fence sitters miss out, which okay, great, but it's in and out, and it like keeps the excitement, and that's something that's hard to like quantify. If like when you own a knife and it's just like, oh, it's just like in stock, whatever, it kind of loses a little bit of that excitement. But when a knife sells out quick, it makes it just a little more special.
It's long enough to forget and then remember, and then get home from work and then still buy it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really a fantastic knife. Out of the box, the action on this was ridiculous. I accused Jamie of having worked on it before sending it to me, but it didn't have any evidence of having been opened. So really fantastic action. The blade is beautiful. The grind is beautiful. And the scales, Tom.
It's pretty dope.
Typical G10 texture. But you got the little bricky look, which gives it a little bit of an extra grip without getting crazy like the Diamond Arc pattern of a few years ago, which was a very popular knife for a very small number of you. But I think many of you agree that it was probably a little overdone.
That was when S45 VN was like, oh, the new steel in the market. That had two great things going for it, those shredder scales and the steel.
It's very true. Very true. Yeah, I think in the comments here, we should address something. Tom was the keeper of the nicknames and the emojis for a long time. And I think we've reached a point, Tom, where it's starting to like grow beyond our reach. People are like naming things without our permission. And how dare you all? Honestly, it's probably fine. It's okay that it lives outside of us. But somebody used the Rhino. Now, what was the Rhino previously? It was
Rhino. Rhino is the Maxima. You can look it up in the dictionary. It exists in the group. There is a dictionary. Maxima. In fact, it's been used so much that River's Edge Cutlery used it on a gray Maxima that they like Cerakoted and stuff. So like Rhino does exist. This one is the brick though, which makes total sense.
We have used the brick in the past in a less flattering way, but I think this is well deserved. It is obviously a brick, so I'm good with it. Randy Dyke says crazy sharp out of the box. I agree. Yep. So,
and you know what? I mean, I like that. That's the way it is. It always is that way, right?
Sharp out of the box, you mean?
Yeah, it's always sharp out of the box. Which is,
I've never found a dull Spyderco out of the box. Like, I don't know why we're always surprised by it. Maybe other brands aren't sharp out of the box, but Spyderco does not disappoint.
No, I've never. Maybe a few times if there's something crazy wrong with that. I can't even think of an example, but out of the box, Spydercos are always sharp, and that's one thing when I get sent a new knife to sharpen, and I'm like, I hope you don't expecting it back like a world of different sharper because they do a good job.
Now that's not to say that you can't improve an edge. If you're a whiz of a sharpener, you're probably going to be able to make it better. But for a factory production made knife to have an edge that strong, man, it's really something. Was I muted as I said all that?
Nope, you're all good.
You looked at me like you're about to tell me I was muted. New acronym for selling knives, SOOB. Smooth out of box. I like it.
Brick stick.
The brick stick. Bricky McBrickface. Yeah. So Tom, we were privileged to receive an advanced copy of this knife from Jamie and her team at GP Knives, and very happy to have it. And I've delighted in being able to share this with you guys. And now, following through on a commitment to give this knife away, Tom and I put out a giveaway. I think many of you were able to fill that out. Last time I saw, we had like 500 people enter.
We had 663 entries.
That's outstanding. Everybody likes free knives. It's kind of it's kind of the way to go. Oh, SOOB, SOOB means sharp out of box.
Ooh. I mean, that's something you can't always say.
I think if it's SOOB, then it's not NIB. NIB is for, I didn't open it. Like Jeff Loffer selling his old knives. Those haven't been opened. He's really serious. He doesn't open those. That's NIB. If it's SOOB, then that means you probably tested it. So Mrs. Joseph is not here to defend herself, Brian, and we'll take your take your word on that. Looks like Big Jim liked your Hapstones, Tom.
I mean, they're not my Hapstones. They're everyone's Hapstones, but I'm glad that the word is spreading because they are fantastic. There's just something about them. They work good, and then they give you a sharp edge, and they give you a shiny edge, or they give you anything you want, really.
Everything that's resin bonded or metallic bonded requires lapping. If it's if the aggregate is like electroplated on the steel or on the substrate, then you don't. But those Hapstone premiums do have to be lapped. So I don't recommend waiting too long. You're going to want to do that often because if you wait a long time, it takes a long time to get it done. So don't wait too long.
That is true.
Well, Tom, should we do the giveaway?
We should. I already went through the spreadsheet, made it all nice. Only like 5 people entered more than one time.
Okay.
23 people entered a number that was higher than 100,000 this time. So less than the last giveaway, but less entries. So about the same proportionately. Interesting statistics we got from about half of the people that surveyed were already customers of GP Knives. So that's
really cool.
That's pretty solid. And I asked one fun question in here, and it's if you have ever dyed handle scales. And 35% of people had, but 44% of people want to try it.
Oh, cool.
And then 20% are like Stephen Thompson, who like thinks it's sacrilegious to touch scales and turn them colors and modify your knife.
Hey, brother, I think if Eric Glasser wanted it that color, he would have made it that way, brother. Steven hates it when I do his voice, but I know he doesn't watch, so I can do it with reckless abandon. And he has one of the deepest voices you've ever heard, brother.
It's booming.
I believe he was a lineman on his football team in college. And when you meet him in person, he's still a lineman. Big dude. Big dude. So for those of you who don't know, GP Knives is based in Illinois, just across the border from St. Louis. If you're ever in the St. Louis area, you can get to it. I think, a lot of America passes through St. Louis going east-west, right? And it's a gateway to the west, Tom.
Oh.
And if you're about to approach St. Louis, you're going to want to get off the highway and go to GP Knives. They are a second-generation knife store, mom and pop. Fantastic selection inside. I was there for almost 2 hours, and I barely saw anything because we were talking and flicking and, sharing stories, and it was a fantastic trip. So if any of you are looking for a destination knife store, that's one I would recommend. Sometimes they're not destination stores, Tom. Sometimes they just have like 84 knives, but that one's definitely a destination.
Maybe think about it. There really isn't that many big knife stores that you can physically go visit in person, period. There's not a lot of
probably less than 50 if I had to guess.
There's not one that's in Portland I can go, and there's tons of knives here, and I can't go look at knives at a big knife store.
Well, shall I use a random number generator?
We should, between 0 and 100,000. And we'll pick a winner. Let's see if there's any funny trends. Let's see if there was a bunch of 69 420s or people are getting off of that trek. Only 2 69 420s, but there was another 69 69, some 69,000s. Yeah. It's less. People are getting the hint that they can't play the silly number. They're not going to win.
Well, let me see if I can pull up my screen. Last time I tried this, it didn't work right. Let's see if it works this time. Also, I think I'm going to try the Google random number generator instead of the random.org one.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Why don't we try this and see what we get? Can you see it okay?
Yep.
All right. So it's between 1 and 100,000, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to hit the button.
31,759.
It felt more random to watch it like spin as if it were, a game show.
31,759. The winner is David Huckle with this point of 31,727.
Wow, David Huckle. So remember, everybody, it's highest without going over.
David Huckle is the winner of the Brick Rec 76 PM2.
Well, that's fantastic. I'll have to reach out to Mr. Huckle and get that in the mail to him. Congratulations, David. Tom, I don't think we're done talking about GP Knives. I spoke with Jamie, and she said she'd love to come on the show. Tonight's not going to work because it's last minute. But we should have her on the show soon so we can talk about perhaps their next special edition knife that's coming out, their next exclusive. Shall we show it? I think we should show it. Yeah, dude. Why are your hands so white, bro?
Because my light's bright.
There you go. Look at that, everybody. So here we have a Kevin Smock designed Spyderco Smock exclusive. Now, this knife is special for a couple of reasons. Tom, tell us.
It's pretty. It's fidgety. About this specific knife, or just how awesome it is in general?
Tell us about the exclusive.
Okay. Well, this is a Smock. They've been around for a minute. A lot of people have owned one.
Yeah.
This one, my favorite feature of this one is it comes with a Rex 45 blade that's been TiCN coated, which is titanium carbonitride coated.
Yep.
Which is this really cool. It's not DLC, and I'm going to keep on saying that. in the group. It's not DLC. It doesn't look like DLC. It's not like your PM2. It's shiny, and you can see the grinds through it, which is my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's sort of a translucent blade coating.
And this part I was not on board with until I handled it in person. But I'm down with the Stormtrooper theme. Like, I like this white G10.
This thing is gorgeous, guys. It is a G10 handle with contours around the finger area.
Yep.
The speed holes are countersunk, and the G10 is semi-gloss because it's smooth G10 that's been polished. So I've never seen polished G10 on a Spyderco before. I've seen the smooth, but it still retains the satin look. This is shiny to the touch. So when we talk about the Stormtrooper look, this thing is definitely Stormtrooper because those costumes that they wear in the movie have a shine to them. So very cool knife. Rex 45. This might be the first time they've done that out of the Tai Chung factory. Isn't that right?
It's the first time I can think about it. Yeah.
I can't remember another time. Also, the liners are black, guys. So the Smock community is rabid and wide and large, and guys love Kevin Smock's designs. And the problem is there haven't been very many of these that come out. So I think this is only the third exclusive.
There is a smooth black G10 one from Knife Joy. There's a red one from DLT.
Right.
And there's a M4 Tycian coated one from Blade HQ.
Okay. Yeah. So
not
very many
more. I'm not super tuned in, but there's not a ton of them. Like, that's about it. And this is by far the coolest one that's come out so far, I think.
About a year ago, I was able to meet Kevin Smock, and I got to talk to him at length about his design process and about his knives. And I begged him to come on the show, and he said maybe.
Ooh.
But when we talked about this knife in particular, he said, I'm not a knife guy. I'm a designer. And I design things, and I think of myself as more of a designer than a knife guy. But I do love knives. And he said, when I decided to make my own knife, I sat down and I made a list of all the features that I like on a knife and all the features that I hate on a knife. And he said, this knife does not include every single feature that I like, but it doesn't include any of the features that I hate. And so he designed a knife kind of backwards from the wish list that he wanted on a knife. Like, if I could build a dream knife, what would I do? And it's funny because if I were to do it, that would be the same process, right? I would want to include as many things that I thought were awesome in my knife. So Kevin came up with a knife that has a very special lock system in it. It's a button lock that we all know, but it actually has a double detent. So there's a detent on the open and a detent on the close. The purpose for that is to keep the knife from coming open in your pocket. So if you accidentally push the button, the blade doesn't fall out. That's a pretty important feature, important safety feature.
Although some people take that out. You
can take it out. It's kind of risky. I recommend doing it very carefully or in a box. Like, do it inside a cardboard box because the spring will shoot the bearing everywhere and you'll never find it again. So I see in the comments, a couple guys are like, I've never had a Smock. The cool thing about a Smock is that in the pocket, it's very, very slim. You can see the profile of this knife is very minimal. So if you're the kind of person that likes the profile of a Bug Out or the profile of, a slimmer, smoother knife, maybe a Gale Bradley, something like that, you're going to like the Smock because it's very comfortable to carry. The other thing is it has a very fun flipper tab, and then you also have the button lock. I suppose you could finger flick it. There you go. You can finger flick it with the Spidey hole. So it's one of those things where sometimes knives get obnoxious with too many ways to open it, but Kevin figured out how to cram them all into one design in a really cool, compact way. I think it's awesome.
This Spyderco does something different than any other Spyderco I've ever handled does.
What?
It flips.
Let's face facts, guys. Spyderco flippers. There have been many through the years, but this is easily the best. This is easily the best. You're right.
And it's not that they haven't had Tai Chung flippers. There's been a lot of miserable Tai Chung flippers. But this one is set up a lot like a Vero, where it's got a high, unobtrusive, which is also really nice, but it's also high. Like, your center of pushing the force is above the pivot, which just helps it fling open really nicely.
Yeah. The secret to a flipper tab, more than one maker has told me this. You want the flipper tab to be higher than the midline of the pivot. If your flipper tab is below the pivot, then you're not able to get enough force on it. So with this one, you're really pulling it a long way, and that's what makes the blade fly open. Ooh, look at the grind lines, Tom. Get a good picture of that there. So really a beautiful blade. It's sort of a sheepy kind of thing going on here on the tip. And what that means is the tip is lower. So when you're cutting, you don't have to bring the knife up high to get to the tip. You know, on a drop point, you got a lot of belly there. This knife does not have that. So very comfortable to hold. It's fantastic in the hand. You can come up on it if you want to. This little cutout accommodates the button lock, but it also makes a really nice finger choil. I would say it's nice in a pinch grip. It's nice in a you know, the standard grip. And if you're going to choke up, it's also nice.
So the thing that I was always hesitant on the Smock is it does not have traditionally good Spyderco ergonomics. It's not like a Mannix in your hand, but it's not uncomfortable. It's just not like holding a molded, flowing, swooping ergonomic thing like the Mannix or the Native. It's you know,
it doesn't have a swell. It doesn't have the swell in the middle of the handle. It's not swoopy.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's very different.
But once you actually use it, it's fine. It's like, it's not a big deal. That's one thing that held me back for a long time, though, is it just didn't look like my hand fit on it right. But it works totally fine.
So Tom and I will be giving away the Smock. We have 2 of them now, which is extra cool. So we will be giving them away. Seems unfair to do one with the list we already have. We should probably do a new list.
No, we'll do something totally different. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It won't be today. We'll figure it out. But
it'd be fun to give away a second knife right now. But if we do, the people that like Smocks and don't like PM2s will be upset that they didn't get to apply. So let's hold off until we're ready. But yeah, 2 of them to give away. Do you know when the drop is on these, Tom?
12/17 at 10 a.m. Central, which is, I think, Tuesday, right?
Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. That's 11 o'clock Eastern. That's 8 a.m. Pacific time.
Now, I say this pretty sparingly, and it's been a little while since there's been a flood of exclusives on the market, but I am fairly confident this is going to be an under 24-hour sellout knife. I think this is going to be maybe hearkening back to the older days of like a drop that shuts down a website and people freak out, because I've been posting this around and it's getting a lot of people saying, ooh, this is going to be my first Smock.
I think it's hard to know how fast it'll sell out, because I happen to know that Jamie and her team are not afraid to go deep on an exclusive. And she told me a number for one of their exclusives, and it was shocking how big it was. She was just like, go big. And I was like, wow, it's awesome. I love it. So they're not afraid to go deep on an order. So not knowing the quantity, not being able to guess on that, I don't know. But I can tell you that there's a lot of Smock fans out there that don't have a lot to pick from. Having a black blade on a Rex 45 is really cool. The high gloss G10 couldn't be cooler. Jamie did say today when I was talking to her briefly that Spyderco had a very hard time finding white G10 that was acceptable to them. Like the failure rate's really high, and the rejection rate, because it has stains or inclusions in it, it just doesn't look good. So she said it took a long time to get these, but man, it's a cool knife. I'm really impressed with it.
So this white G10, like you said, is very gloss, and one thing that helps it do, I think, is it helps it stay clean. Because like if you remember the Crewwear Para 3 Sprint Run, that was like white almost, but it was like very light gray.
Yeah,
I would handle that with clean hands, and I'm like, fuck, it is dirty again, and I have to go wash the whole knife.
it was very hard to carry it without the indigo in your jeans getting on that knife and making it change color. Yeah, I think a lot of people change the scales on that one.
That I don't get the vibes from that, because like I've been handling this all day and it still looks brand new clean.
Yep. I think this is going to be a good one. I believe, what was the street price? Was it 242?
It's
somewhere in that range?
245. The
245.
standard Smock is 228, which means for the $17 premium, you're getting a Tycian coated blade and black liners and black hardware.
That's awesome.
So that's about right.
Yeah. So, very cool knife, very hot, popular model, and yeah, a couple different things going for it, which is exciting.
Yeah, people have been asking me since I started posting. It's like this coating's really flown under the radar. They've done it on one Smock, they've done it on one Sage, and they've done it on the Tough. They've done this coating. Those are the only three I can think of that have done this out of Taichung. Now, whenever I post my Sage, everybody asks, well, "How do I get that coating? What is that? What?" It's the Taichung coating. So this is your chance to get it. They don't do it a lot, obviously.
The DLC coating is made out of carbon, which is diamonds, and it's extremely hard. So it's a type of coating that, because it's so hard, it's very resistant to abrasion. The TiCN coating is the same kind of coating you're going to find on a drill bit. So it's designed for a very different function. The TiCN coating on a drill bit's there to help the drill bit kind of deal with the high speed and the friction that happens when you're drilling a hole through something. So it's not there as a corrosion resistance measure. It's not there as a it's not there to make the blade harder. It's just there as a cosmetic thing. It makes it black, right? And it's a pretty durable black coating. So you might compare it to Cerakote, which is essentially like ceramic paint. This is a very, very thin coating. So you can see the grind through the coating. You can see how thin it is just by the texture of the steel through it. So it's a very cool, very black coating. But if you want to keep the knife looking beautiful, make sure you keep it oiled. So it's not chemically the same thing as DLC. TiCN gets used on doorknobs, if I recall. Oh, interesting. So if you look at a black doorknob, it's TiCN. I just know it as a drill bit coating. That's the way I remember it.
It sounds like that's the best way I think you should describe it because it sounds like awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like if a drill bit could handle it, that sounds great.
Think about like from a knife manufacturing standpoint, you're like, it'd be cool if we had black blades. What could we use? Let's use Krylon. No, it chips and falls off. Oh, can we use Tester's model paint? Yeah, but it costs $1 squillion and it's thick. That's not a good choice. Shall we use magic marker? Yeah, no, dumb idea. Okay. So what coatings can we put on metal that's going to be kind of durable? It's going to hold up. So that takes you down this road, right? There's a couple of things you can use. And TiCN is a cool coating because it's thin and it's translucent and it holds up well.
I wonder if they could do this in the US. At least haven't tried it.
TiCN?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You gonna place an order, Tom? Yeah.
If I can get some TiCN, yeah.
You know what I want more of?
What?
I want more of the rose gold DLC that Koenig did a couple years ago.
Oh, they have to send to Switzerland and get done like one screw at a time.
Imagine mailing pivots to Switzerland to get rose gold on it. It's crazy. Yeah. But I'd like more of that. That'd be sweet. So we got a new Smock dropping Tuesday. We got a sold out PM2 exclusive. What else we should probably talk about? We should probably talk about the Crucible situation.
Oh yeah, it's a good point.
There was a lot of business a lot of MBAs came out of the woodwork to talk about Crucible.
Yeah. You know how many chapters of bankruptcies I heard about? Different chapters?
Yeah, I got lectured a lot about how bankruptcy works. I had a lot of attorneys and MBAs arguing about bankruptcy. It's not easy to hear because we all know Crucible to be an important company that makes the knives of our dreams and they make all of our favorite steels and but in the end of the day, they're a small part of a very large industry. Steel is an enormous industry, and Crucible is just one of several factories that make steel. So it looks like their costs were exceeding their revenue and their margins weren't where they needed to be. And for whatever business reasons they're looking to get bankruptcy protection. So as it was pointed out so astutely in the group, about half the time companies survive a bankruptcy, and half the time they don't. the thing you should know is that Crucible might make the steels, but ultimately our knife companies don't buy from Crucible, they buy from Niagara. So Niagara Metals is the company that rolls the steel and literally makes the steel and delivers it to the knife companies. So shortly after this announcement, the president of Niagara got on, where was it? Blade Forum, I think, and posted that they've already anticipated this and they've already placed orders for those steels, and they're ordering them from other factories. So it's a little bit like ordering cookies. You know, cookies have a recipe, and you can follow the recipe and you can make the cookie. So they ordered that recipe steel from other companies. So there should not be a disturbance in the pipeline or the flow of the steel. That should all be fine. So whether Crucible survives or doesn't, you know, we're all rooting for them. We all want the best for Crucible because I don't want to have to learn new steel names, Tom. I don't need a quarterback, you know, play calling bracelet to know what steels are what.
Match them back up to new to old. Yeah.
Right. Formerly known as.
One thing that I don't think people realize based on some of the comments, no, MagnaCut is not going to be the saving grace of this company because it's a very small portion of what they do. It's not. They're not a knife steel company. They're a steel company. They happen to make a lot of knife steels, though.
So Tom and I got to meet the president of Niagara at Blade Show a few years ago, and he was telling us that the knife industry is like less than 10% of their output for Niagara. So think of all the things that are made out of steel, right? All the different wonderful products that are out there, and knife steel is a very small part of it. So, you know, things like screwdrivers, you know, the screwdriver is made out of steel. Somebody had to come up with the right alloy for this steel to make it tough and durable so you can pry with it and beat it up and it's going to hold up. And that kind of stuff comes from the steel company.
There's more screwdrivers, I think, than S30V blades out there. I'd
say so. P. Bryan says that MagnaTough will save them. So I believe Laren Thomas has already shown some of the technical data for MagnaTough. It looks kind of badass.
Oh, really? I haven't been paying too much attention to this. I saw something get posted on the group, but I didn't understand it.
So Laren called MagnaCut stainless M4. Sorry, stainless 4V.
Yes.
He called it stainless 4V. They're now referring to MagnaTough as a stainless K390.
So wait, MagnaTough K390 is less tough than 4V, though, correct?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But the edge retention is
more. I know that.
Considerably better. So if you're going to make a knife that's almost infinitely stainless, then you're going to have to surrender something. And what you're surrendering edge retention in order to do that. And the way to make MagnaCut even more stainless tends to make it a little bit brittle. So you can't have everything. You can't have a steel that's unbelievably good at cutting and unbelievably stainless and unbelievably tough. You can't have all three. So it seems like this MagnaTough is going to be a lot more edge retention and probably a little bit tougher. And perhaps, I don't know about the stainless part. So I think we all need to go read what Laren says, since he's the metallurgist that invents the crap, and maybe stay out of the comment section as much. I don't know. That's what I think. Maybe we could have Laren back on and he can talk about it when he's ready.
We should. That sounds like a good idea.
I do know that a friend of ours, Tom, took a piece of this new steel, the prototype steel, and he made himself a hunting knife out of it.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, and then he skinned an entire elk with it and processed the entire animal using the knife, and then wrote a paper about it. And I would say that is a really good, practical, real-world way of using a piece of steel and telling you whether it's worth the crap.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So I don't want to give that away, but I'll let him release that in his own due course. But I can't wait to read that one.
He has promised to be a guest soon.
Someone shared a screenshot of his steel chart showing where the MagnaTough was ranked on it. So I haven't looked for it myself. If somebody wants to go check it out, then go for it. He has a nuke. A Vuk. No, a Book. Yes, he does have a Book. You guys can get. He has 2 Books. One is a Knife Steel Nerds knife metallurgy book, and the other one is a history of knife steel. Tom reads the history of knife steel to his daughter every night.
She loves it.
It sounds like a winner.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's in German. Book his book. Thank you, Alan. Ooh, Tom, I got something.
What?
I can't wait to send this to you.
Okay.
I got you a Christmas present.
Ooh.
I got both of us some Juju Mufu smelling salts.
Fucking A.
Dude, I opened the bag that these came in. Like, these are sealed in a bag. You can see it's sealed.
Yeah.
I opened the bag they came in, and the bag stinks.
Stinks or makes you like I still don't understand what smelling salts do.
Listen, you've done worse.
It's true.
It says the world's strongest smelling salts. Most sophisticated formula. Crazy like a super powerful hot sauce. Way more than those high quality ammonia stuffed compounds. So let's read the back here. We've got some instructions. You can see anyone can do this, even weightlifters. So it says, do not stick under other people's noses. Noted. Do not sniff. You want to lightly waft 12 inches from the nose. And then it says, do not use more than a few times a day. Do immediately before intense exertion. Immediately close the bottle after each use. Do warm to room temperature before each use.
Wait, so this is like to get you jacked up? Like this is like a pre-workout? This is what this is?
So the reason these are popular is because a weightlifter went on the Joe Rogan Experience and said that before he lifts weights, right, like, world record weightlifting, he takes a whiff of this stuff and he feels so awake and alive that he can do anything, like lift these heavy weights. So the next thing that happened was the guy that owns this company sent a bunch of them to Joe, who then waited until his comedy friends were on the show, and then they would all do them together. So now it's become a thing where the guests will ask, and they'll whip these out and they'll try it, and it's always hilarious. It's never boring. So I was thinking,
oh fuck,
you get a bottle and I get a bottle, and then live on FFIB in front of our fans here, we find out whether or not this stuff really makes you see the 8th dimension or not.
Well, we've seen the 8th dimension already.
I mean, not on camera. This looks like a really fun thing that we can do. Like, it's either that or the Packy 1-chip challenge, and I don't want to eat something that spicy.
No, I don't want spicy shit. Fuck spicy.
I love spicy stuff, but this goes away faster.
Okay.
It's I thought this might take more work, but no, we got him. We got him, guys. You don't understand what they do until you do. I guess Blake knows from experience.
Yeah.
Great marketing. There isn't really, I mean, I would argue there's no better marketing. Like, yeah, that's pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, like, Joey Diaz tried him, and that was funny.
Did it make him pull him out of his deep high? Did it like make him...
Yes, Theo Vaughn tried it, and then he asked for the bottle back so he could get his other nostril. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny. So I think we should try it. Tom said he'd do it. It's not Narcan. It's ammonia. It's just ammonia. But it works like Narcan, I'm sure. Anyway, they say you feel more awake than you've ever felt.
I already feel pretty awake often. I don't know if I can handle being more awake than I am sometimes.
It's like 5 gum.
It's like 5.
They smell like what Ultim looks like. I think I know what you mean by that.
Ah.
Tracy's down. All right, Tracy.
We'll do it. Send it on over.
Yes, I got him.
All for the sake of FFIB.
Gonna do it for the show. I'm telling you, man. Like, this is the package it came in. It's even the package, man. Yeah. Oh, Juju Mufu also sells pants. I gotta show you.
Juju Mufu.
Yeah, they're your kind of pants. Let me find it.
Joggers.
They remind me of Zubas.
Zubas. That's they're like workout clothes.
Do you remember Zubas from the 90s?
No, that was before I was conscious.
Check it out. They're called very flexible pants. Very
Okay.
good sweatpants.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. It looks just like you, Tom. Did
I
you model
know.
for that?
Jeez.
That's you, isn't it?
Click on
Hey, they
those.
come in denim blue.
You know,
I
maybe
mean,
not my cut, but I get it. It works.
hey, dude, have a carb.
Are these for
How
like
many?
doing jujitsu in them or something?
I don't know. How many eggs do you think he eats a day? 18? You know that guy eats like 6 raw eggs before he's even out of bed.
You know how much that guy stinks? He just like farts all day long, eating
He's
protein nonstop.
I bet he loves how much he stinks.
Yeah.
Workout pajamas? Oh, hell yeah. Maybe, do you think they would do a Millie Club workout pajama?
Ooh.
We should ask him if he'll do some workout gear with our logo on it.
These fucking poses are so... Do you think they just
Hey,
like
bro.
photoshopping on the same pair of pants onto them in different colors?
I bet he would punch the Easter Bunny. Anyway, yeah, Juju Mufu, we're doing it.
Okay.
I like the way these are marketed. They're just called ah.
This sounds like it's gonna be healthy.
I agree. Hey, dude, sleeveless hoodies. I know you've been
Oh,
waiting.
you gotta have a hood when you got no sleeves on your fucking your pump cover.
Dude, they're on sale.
Oh, I wonder why.
You know, maybe. Oh, it has a kangaroo pouch.
I do like kangaroo pouches.
We should invite him on the show. All right, this is just good pod now.
Well, thank you for the awesome Christmas present. This will be fun.
Man. He probably eats 10 pounds of chicken. Yeah, I bet. Josh, hey, good. How'd they get my picture? Seth wants some Millie workout pajamas. Yeah, you know that guy carries a shaman.
He carries a Cold Steel. I 100% guarantee he's a Cold Steel owner.
He's got an Espada XL.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, Demko, I can see Demko too.
I bet he shaves his stomach 3 times a day. The bro rocks a Demko. He probably has a karambit.
Well, what else did I want to touch on? I was thinking maybe we could go and talk about some gift ideas for the EDC minded person, for something you could maybe ask for yourself or for others. I had some ideas because I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to get my parents and what I'm going to get my kids and all this kind of stuff. But all I can think about is stuff that I want to get for myself.
I feel like you could just do it all at Juju Mufu.
I might. That is a one-stop shop. Maybe if I buy enough, I'll get free shipping even.
Right. Yep.
So, gift ideas. I started scrounging around my house, and I don't know how great of a gift idea this is, but I decided I've been trying to lighten the load of everything in my office for the last 3 years, and I got this little drone, this little DJI drone, and I can't fly it next to my house easily without like getting clearance and all this crap because I live next to the Portland airport. So it like it's all restrictive and weird, and I have to like sign into some app saying I'm flying a thing and I won't go over 400 feet in the air or something. So I'm just gonna get rid of the stupid drone because it's a pain in the butt. But I'm gonna get to my dad. So I'm just looking for things around my house that I can kind of like offload to someone else. And I think it's been kind of successful.
I'm going to give my uncle my deer knife.
Your deer knife?
Yeah. Technically, I mean, it was my other uncle's knife. So his little brother made it. So I'm giving my younger uncle's knife to my older uncle.
Oh.
Yeah. Who doesn't want a deer knife? You remember the deer knife, right?
Oh, made of the deer foot?
Yeah.
Not for cutting up a deer, made of a cut.
I wouldn't
deer.
recommend it for cutting a deer, but it's made with a deer.
No,
Made
that's
of deer.
good.
Yeah. Ratchman's 5000 says go to New Jersey and fly it. Tom, if we've learned anything this week, it doesn't matter whether you fly it by the rules or not, because evidently no one gives a shit about the rules.
Yeah. So what's the deal with, like, why can't someone else just go fly their drone up there and see what's going on? Because that'd be illegal. But
I'm no attorney and I'm no FAA specialist, but I can tell you for sure that our government doesn't know where these drones are coming from and who's in charge of them. They don't know.
How has someone not shot one down? One crashed, I heard.
There's footage of one crashed on the highway and it looks like Roswell, like it's a giant fucking thing. So I think that's fake. And then I've seen a video of somebody shooting at one, but they were tracer rounds. That tells me that's fake. So I don't know that anybody's actually shot at them. And I can understand why they don't want anybody shooting, because next thing you know, somebody's shooting at a Cessna thinking it's a UFO, and that would be bad. So don't shoot at drones. But I don't know
what are
why.
they trying to look at me for? What are they doing?
I don't know why they don't know who's flying them.
It's bizarre.
They're listening to all our phones, but they don't know who's flying the drone. I find that hard to believe. So, Tom, that means either they're visitors or it's actually like our government doing it.
It is pretty odd. We're going to find out what it is, and it's going to be very underwhelming, I have a feeling.
Haygood says just fly it.
So, yeah, I'm getting my dad the drone, getting my mom some stuff from Costco. But if you are trying to think of some gift ideas for yourself, if your wife is asking you what you want, ask for these. This should be on everyone's Christmas list as a little stocking stuffer. These are Knipex pliers wrenches. They're the best replacement to like a C-clamp, like a channel lock style adjustable wrench. Because when you put pressure on them, it tightens down more. It doesn't get loose. And it's got smooth jaws that are very thin that make working on knives.
Can you grab a standoff with that, Tom?
That make grabbing knives by a standoff really easy. So,
well, if I had a pair of pliers that could grab a standoff without ruining the standoff, I'd be interested.
Yeah, that's pretty much what these are good for. I mean, they're good for lots of things. They're good for carrying around, but my primary use, holding standoffs. It's a game changer. It makes your life a lot easier. So, Knipex ply wrenches, these are the 125 millimeter size. They're the 86 03 125 Knipex pliers wrenches. These should be on your Christmas shopping list. And the other item that everyone should have, because everyone can just say, okay, just go to Amazon and type these numbers in. Weehaw 36291. And just buy the Weehaw 36291 Torx driver set. It was $27 last weekend. And this is a game changer for working on knives, because these big cushy handles make you can break Loctite super easy, and these bit tips won't twist out of shape.
Yep.
So if you're using little bits with a little stubby handle, I know a lot of people like doing that, fine. But once you experience having 3 individual screwdrivers, and you don't have to pull the tips off and replace them and switch them back and forth, you'll appreciate having full-size drivers.
Yep. I have one, Tom.
What's that?
I think if you give a shit about flashlights, you should get yourself an arc feld.
Oh, I was thinking about that.
Dude, I had a buddy, shout out to Vinny. Vinny wanted some club coins. So I sent him a bunch of club coins, and he was like, what do I owe you? And I said, I know you're a savage with Olight. And he's like, guilty. I'm like, he's like one of those platinum level guys. Yeah. I said, I need an arc feld. So he sent me an arc feld Pro. And this thing is fantastic. First of all, it's very comfortable in the pocket. Number one, it's not round. Number two, it has UV light, it has a laser, and it has a flashlight. The flashlight has 4 levels, and then it does that seizure-inducing flashy thing, which is annoying. But the laser, Tom, Jesus, I went outside last night with the laser, and I shot it down the street that way, and I shot it down the street this way, and everything I could see, I could hit with the laser. I was
It's
painting
green,
stuff
right?
like 400 yards away. Yeah, green.
Yeah.
So the laser was just bad to the bone. And
Ooh.
then if you really want to be disturbed and you believe your house is clean, hit it with the black light, and you will be shocked at how much bioluminescence there is in your house. Like I was finding stuff that's completely invisible with the lights on. So big smears on the wall, sneezes on the floor, and you're just like, oh, I've never mopped in that corner. So it makes you go, wow, I think I need to clean my house better. Also, really handy for like if you want to, well, I don't know, if you want to look at a guitar and you figure out whether the finish is original or whether it's fake, you can use a black light.
Oh,
Be
interesting.
good for that.
I was curious about that flashlight because it's not round, which is my biggest issue with every flashlight. Is it's
Yep. Frankly, it's smaller than a shaman, which I can't hate enough. This flashlight is much more convenient and easy to carry than a stupid shaman.
I like
So
that. The fact
yeah,
that it has the laser pointer on it that's just fun is a big selling point to me. I kind of want one now.
I really wish the world would stop putting CE on everything. They just
What's
don't
that
need it on
mean?
there. Crappy electronics.
Oh,
It's a global certification. The thing is safe across all the countries that use it. Jason is Peter North. How dare you?
well, I know one thing that everyone wants to gift a non-knife person at some point in their life is a knife. And I see some people ask for suggestions like, oh, what should I buy my wife? What should I buy my friend?
Here comes the sage conversation.
If you are looking for a knife for a person who is not into knives yet, my suggestion is the Spyderco Sage 5 lightweight. This one's got AWT scales on it, and it's a Rex 121, but you don't need that. You just need the regular old black S30V Sage lightweight. The reason I say that is I carry a pair of 3 every day. I love the pair of 3, but this requires maintenance. This requires me tending to the screws. This requires me dialing it in from the factory to get it right. This is just work. But you can get someone a Sage 5. You don't even have to open the box to see if it's dialed in from the factory. It will be. And that person can get a knife that's at a reasonable price, that's stainless, that's lightweight, and they don't have to ever worry about it again. They don't have to touch a screw. They don't have to buy a set of Torx drivers. They can just have a knife and it will work. And they'll be happy with it, and they can flick it and have fun, and they get really into knives. So that's my suggestion for a gift knife. I gifted one to my wife's coworker last week, and he absolutely loves it. So it's a very good gift knife. It's not cheap, but I think for the price, it's the best option for someone you're trying to convince to get into knives.
I like the Sage 5 myself. It's a good knife. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Spyderco, but it's very good.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite Spyderco, but I'd say it's my favorite one for someone who doesn't own any knives to experience something that's just going to work.
Yeah, it's not super tactical. It's not scary looking. It's not intimidating. But it's functional. It's a great blade shape, great size, good in the hand, good in the pocket. It's a fine choice. The other thing, while we're talking about Christmas for your bros, you want to buy some gifts for your EDC friends. Pick yourself up these 2 bottles of Gunny. You're going to want Gunny Glide and you're going to want Gunny Slide. And what I do with mine, Tom, is I color code the tops of the bottles so that I don't have to figure out which one's which.
Oh, yeah, because Scott's labels.
Because the Glide and the Slide, like I don't have a microscope small enough to read it. So what I like to do is I use the Glide, of course. The Gunny Glide is his first product, and it's a pivot lube. It's designed to lubricate pivots. It's designed to lubricate bearings. And then there's the Slide, which actually was developed for firearms, for semi-automatic firearms. And it's thicker. Viscosity means it's going to stay on the rail, and it's going to keep the gun functioning. It also works particularly good for pivot or for detents. So if you want a smooth action on your Spyderco, you're probably going to want a single teeny tiny drop of oil on your detent ball. But if you use something that's too thin, it's going to move around. So the nice thing about the gunny slide is it's thick enough. It's going to stay on that detent ball, and it's going to give you better action. So the gunny lubricants contain a special ingredient called graphene, and Scott has a proprietary method to keep the graphene suspended in the oil. So just like if you take salt and you dump it into olive oil, it's going to sink to the bottom. Scott figured out how to suspend the graphene in the solution. So every time you put a drop of the oil on your product, it's going to stay there. The graphene stays behind long after the oil dissipates, and it smooths out the metal on metal and makes it glide better. So that's why his Pivot Lube tends to last longer than other brands.
I got a whole bunch of Scott stuff sitting right in front of me. That's for sure.
My favorite Spyderco is not the PM2, it's the Pochi.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
I actually took it to the Kentucky Custom Knife Show. People were like, "What are you carrying?" And I showed them. Some were offended, some were amused, some thought it was cute.
That's pretty good.
I mostly just do it to mess with people. But who doesn't like a dog knife?
Another really cool thing, one of my favorite products, I've been sitting here writing with it. Pens can get expensive, like nice pens. You have expensive pens. You have a lot of expensive pens. Jason's got a whole assortment of fancy doodads.
I doubled down on a really dumb one, but I love it.
Doubled down?
Yeah, double.
What do you mean?
So, I bought a fell holder.
Oh, okay.
At the Kentucky Custom Knife Show, there was a fell holder booth. And towards the end of the evening, I decided that I wasn't going to buy a knife, but I may as well buy something while I'm here. I'm not that dumb. They didn't come all the way here not to buy something. So I wandered over and I met Brian and I met his team, and I decided to buy a knife or a pen, especially because they had lefty pens. So
Ooh.
I got myself one. It's a full-size barrel. It's a chonker. It's a little bit heavier than some of my other pens. It's got the dragon scale, which is kind of cool, which matches my Grimsmo. Got a barrel thing here. But Tom, my favorite part, it has a spinner on the top. Listen to this.
Not an eraser, just for funds.
It's a spinner.
Riding spinners.
It spins for an entire minute, Tom.
Wow.
A minute. You know what I did? I put Gunny Glide on it and ruined it. I spun it and it went and stopped. And I was like, uh-oh, Gunny Glide's too thick. So I had to clean all the oil out of it and dry it out. And then now it spins again. So listen to this. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. Hold on a minute. It keeps going. Yeah, it's pretty fun. So I got myself a Zerk spinner.
Wow.
A titanium pen with a barrel. It's got a ballpoint on it. It's got ink and everything.
Was that your big purchase from the show?
That was my big purchase from the show.
Pretty solid.
If you don't want to go full baller, you can always go Tactile Turn. Tactile makes a phenomenal pen. They're much cheaper than the rest because Tactile makes everything in-house, and they're an enormous company. I shouldn't say that. They're not enormous, but they've been around a long time, and they've got a ton of equipment, and they invest in their equipment. So they make a high precision product that's really easy to play with and fun and fidgety. They make lefties and righties and really good pens, and the price is low.
So my whole life, ever since I was a little kid, have been into mechanical pencils. And that's just what I write with. Like I can write with a pen, but I'm just used to writing with a pencil. And I've owned expensive pens. I own a Tactile Turn pen. I own a Tactile Turn pencil even. And it's great. But this is a $9 pencil that over the last 20 years, I've done most of the writing I've done is with this pencil ever since I was in college. This is a Pentel Graph Gear 1000. These are $9 on Amazon, and they're metal shaft, really comfortable grip. It looks fancy. It's very high tech and drafty. But the coolest part about this is the most simple thing is see how the tip comes in and out. You hit the clip and the tip retracts. You can put this in your pocket and carry it with a really good clip that's not going to come off. It's attached to it permanently. So this is like functional to carry in your pocket, where a lot of pencils like have clips that pop off, or they have tips that don't retract and you stab yourself in the leg, or you bend it and it becomes unusable. Like
Yeah,
most
so let's
rocks.
talk about that for a minute. Like, here's some mechanical pencils that I've owned in my life that are really good pencils, right? I've always loved mechanical pencils
Yeah.
since middle school, really. I gave up on wood pencils, went mechanical. This one's been with me forever. But yeah, Tom's on something there. This little point will stab you in the thigh and you'll bleed out any moment. Like, these things are dangerous to carry in your pocket. And I can't tell you how many times I got stabbed in the leg by those things. So that feature is really excellent on this pentel, no question. Also, it's such a nerdy freaking pencil. It's got a little adjustable thing here. So if you use different kinds of lead, like some Psycho, you can assign that pencil to the lead.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to tell your 4B from your 2B.
Yeah, good pens, $9. This is another good option for a budget for a gift for somebody else. Is a Zebra F701. They look like high-end fancy pens, but they're, and again, like around $10 point.
They are moist pea brine. So I also got an Oz machine pen at the show, Tom. I bought that off of our friend Casey. He had an Oz pen that he didn't want anymore. So I bought it off him. And it's becoming my favorite.
So you got an Oz pen, you got the
Yep.
Fellholter pen, you
Yep.
have a Grimsmo pen,
Yep,
you have a Koenig pen,
I do. And then I have a tactile.
and a tactile.
Yep.
A little quiver there.
The Oz pen is the lightest by far. Oh, I also have a Rips Garage Tech pen.
Oh,
I should send it back to him. The clicker's a little jank. I think I've clicked it too much. But yeah, the Oz pen is the lightest of them all. It just weighs nothing. So if you want a lightweight titanium pen, that's the way to go. Tom's right. It works. I gifted my brother a Sage 5 lightweight 2 Christmases ago, and now he's a degenerate knife nut like the rest of us. Well done, Cody. Drag him down to our level.
Yeah, like you can't get somebody started on a knife with something that's like difficult to open, or some one of the knives you're like, well, once you get used to using it, you'll like it. No, you just got to start something very basic and hard to fuck up.
So if you guys didn't know, part of the reason titanium pens are so expensive is not necessarily the cost of the titanium. The reason they're expensive is in the United States, you can't buy tubed titanium. So you might say, Jason, well, if you can't buy tubes of titanium, how do you do it? They start with bar stock titanium and they hollow it out with a little tiny cutter that has to go the entire length of the bar stock, and they have to hollow it out by hand, really. So, well, not by hand, right? They're using a lathe. But the point is that you have to make your own, and that's pretty wild. So it requires a lot of precision to be able to do that. I would say of all the pens that I have so far, the Koenig pen probably has like the most intricate machining. You can tell that here on the grip and on the button, like their machines are legit, and they're doing stuff that other companies can't touch. But the lock mechanism, not my favorite.
That one's kind of slippery, right? It just kind of slips in and out. It doesn't like click.
No, you push the button down and it clicks down. But to release it, you push on the clip. So you push the clip up and it releases. So it's excellent, but it's not. Let's face it, it's not as fun as a barrel.
Yeah, it's not bolt action.
It's not bolt action. Yeah, there's something fun about the flick it and it jams open. So. Easy P. Jimmy's here. What's up, Jimmy?
Did you see earlier, he tagged his wife in the post for FFIB and was telling her, go watch it in case he misses it so she can give him the recap.
Oh, congratulate. No, I'm sorry, Jimmy. Didn't win. You know, Mrs. Massey was trying to sell a PlayStation 5, Tom. She had a PlayStation 5 available on Facebook Marketplace. And you know how Facebook allows you to stalk people that you don't intend to because it shows you things that are like adjacent to you. I don't believe I'm even friends with Mrs. Massey, but it shared it anyway because Facebook loves to just give you the tea. So I waited too long, but I reached out to Jimmy and I was like, "Hey, man, would you trade some knives for your PlayStation?" He was like, "What? Yeah, but it's gone." And I was like, "Oh, damn, I missed it." So I was hoping to score a PS5 before the release of Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, so you got at least a year. You're good.
No, it's close.
Sure.
Close.
Do you see all, like, if you go to comment sections on things now, it's like, oh, we got surfing pirates with bananas on their heads before we got GTA 6. Like, everything that happens is we got this before GTA 6. Everything is, of course, this is before GTA 6.
But they're showing clips.
Yeah. I don't know how they make video games, but aren't they spending like $1 billion making that game?
No, they earn $1 billion from the game. I don't know what it costs to make them, but
I
it's
think
pittance.
they're spending like $1 billion to make this game.
I doubt it.
Well, I think they're going to make more than $1 billion by a lot.
They will. Yeah. Video games make more money than movies.
Yeah.
By a lot. Jason, do you have slat wall in your house? I do have slat wall. I happen to have stolen a sheet of slat wall from a place I used to work that had slat wall. And they didn't need it anymore. And I took it home. So I cut it in half. I made it 6 feet long. And I put a piece up there. And I put a piece up there. And then I took some guitar hangers from a music store I used to work at. And I got a bunch of guitar hangers. So now I've got my guitars hanging on the wall in my office because it's awesome. And it makes me happy to look at them. And anytime I want to, I can pull one down and play it. And then I put it back. And having them out like that is actually easier to take care of them because in the wintertime in Indiana, they dry out and they can crack and they will explode if you don't keep them humidified. So if I can keep my eye on them and make sure they're doing all right, then I can catch them before they blow up. But I also have a humidifier, so they stay humidified. Anyway, that's why I have them out, because they look cool.
It's very true.
I bought this ridiculous thing.
I was going to say, something looks different back there. Oh,
look at that magical, beautiful guitar. Look at that. It looks
There's
just
a hole in the back of it.
It looks just like the real thing.
Are there parts missing from that?
Do you know what this is, Tom?
It's like some guy from the 80s guitar.
It's some guy from the 80s guitar. Yes, it is. It's some guys from the 80s guitar. This is a replica of that guy's guitar. And his name was Lionel Richie.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's a indulgence. That's stupid. I can't believe I bought that, but it's yeah, it's mine now.
Does it play or is it for looks?
It freaking rips, dude. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. I just play Mean Streets for hours. I don't play Eruption. It's kind of cliche. How dare you? That's right, guys. You guys know what's up. You know what's up. No, it's fun. It's just janky. And the fun thing is like it didn't come with a case. And I'm like, of course it didn't. But I knew a guy that worked at the Hollywood Guitar Center. And Hollywood Guitar Center is like 4 minutes from Eddie Van Halen's house. And I've heard stories about him like calling down the hill and going, "Hey, you guys got this thing in?" And they'll go, "Yeah, we got it, Ed." They'll go, "All right, I'll be right there." And 2 minutes later, he shows up in his pickup truck. He's got a pickup truck that's painted like the guitar. Mm-hmm. And he'd like come out with a cigarette, you know, and he'd reach into the back of his pickup and he'd pull out his guitar. Like he'd just throw it in the back of his pickup and drive down the hill, you know, from the Hollywood Hills. And it would just clack around back there. And the funny thing is like to him, it's just a way to make music, but to everybody else, it's a priceless gem, you know. But
yeah,
I just think it would be hilarious to watch an S10 pickup slide down what would it be? Coldwater Canyon, I guess. And guitars just banging around in the back. Pretty cool. Christian Klein already knows, like he's setting me up. Do you have a matching PM2? I do. Some guy in the group, I don't remember his name now. He paints these. That's loud.
That's fun.
This is fun, man. You carry this in your pocket, and when people spot the stripe, they go, bro, you have a panhandling knife? Like, yeah. So yeah, good use for a PM2. Why not?
That's funny.
Anyway, that was random. Oh, you know what else you should buy, everybody?
What?
Buy yourself a really good set of calipers.
I was going to do that actually.
You want calipers, okay? And whether you go digital or you go analog is up to you. The digital is definitely easier to read. And don't cheap out and buy some shitty set from Harbor Freight. You want to buy a nice set of calipers. So definitely make sure that you have the wheel to open and close them. You want the set wheel here that tightens and increases tension. But also you want 4 decimal places, not 3. So make sure you go to the 10,000th of an inch so that you can really get precise. So if you want to do a behind the edge measurement, you can get to the 1/2 of a 1,000th, basically. So a good set of calipers is definitely worthwhile. Also, the higher quality steel is going to be on the higher quality calipers.
Yeah, I have calipers I got on Amazon for like $9 that are dead, and I was like, I could get a new battery for these, or I could just throw them away and buy new calipers.
Sometimes they stretch, like you're trying to measure something, and you can feel that the prongs are bending as you're measuring it. And you're like, oh, come on, I can't even get an accurate measurement. Something else that's worth owning, guys, is General Tool makes a ruler that has 32nds of an inch and 64ths of an inch. So super nerdy. When will I need a 64th of an inch? Sometimes you do. And on the back, it's got a conversion chart to take you to decimals, because as Americans, we are ridiculously stubborn with our fractions. Why in God's name do I need to know 29/64ths when I could just go with thousandths of an inch? We're just dumb that way. But this is like $8, and it's fantastic. I also have another ruler here. This one is inches and centimeters. It's 6 inches long. We've got 64ths across the bottom. But in addition to being a useful tool for measuring shit, it's also extremely straight. This is a very, 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 very straight piece of metal. And it's nice to have a very, very straight piece of metal. If you suspect that your PM2 blade is warped, and you take something that's extremely sharp, straight, and you put it next to the blade, you can confirm whether your blade is warped or not. So having a ruler like this, it's surprisingly handy, surprisingly useful. So I got that ruler, and I got that ruler, and then I have another really weird ruler that actually measures tenths of an inch. So it has 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, Tom.
Everyone needs some of this.
Ooh, chamois.
So this is a fresh sheet. Stuff lasts forever, but I was like, I'm just gonna splurge and spend $9 more and get a giant sheet of chamois cloth.
Yep.
And I cut it up and make little rags out of it that I used for sharpening.
Yep.
And this has a couple of very awesome uses for knives. One is if you have a sharpener that's got a metal clamp like this kind of thing. I had a plastic dip my jaws, but if you have a metal clamp, you can put a little piece of chamois cloth in there, and it'll keep your knife from moving around, which is a nice little use.
Yep.
But this stuff is the best at removing oil from your blade. So if you have a smudged up looking blade and you want to take a picture, I always keep a piece of this in my pocket when I go shoot content. And I wipe my blade off with it, and I'll leave it completely lint-free, fingerprint-free, clean my phone lenses off. It's just a great absorbent, cheap material to keep around, and it has a lot of uses for knives.
Yep.
And so while you're doing your shopping,
it's recycling, Tom. That deer is already dead, so you may as well do something with the skin.
There you go.
Yep. I like to cut little tiny postage size pieces of it, and I use it in the clamps on my knife sharpener, so that I don't have to worry about leaving an impression on the DLC. Mm-hmm. And if you have a knife with like a distal taper or some sort of funky thing going on with the blade, where it's hard to get a clamp it's going to do a really good job of holding it still without using tape. I've put electrical tape on DLC blades before and then clamped it, and I never got the mark out. So
yeah, I did that once. It's not
once.
fun. It's not fun.
So it's a really good product. It's fantastic, and also you can wash it, Tom. So that little square you got in your pocket.
Yeah, I just toss
wash
it
it
like
with some dish
that,
soap.
and then I take it and I put it in the laundry.
Yep.
And so there's little pieces of this shit everywhere, my car, all over my house. But it's handy.
I agree. I think that's it for now.
Yeah. It's a good solid episode. We got hour 15. Give these people a bonus 15 minutes of this excellence.
Oh, last thing I'll recommend, get yourself a bag of ducks. They're known as resin ducks. You can get a bag of them for $9.99. You get a couple hundred ducks. And then what you do with them is you just leave them everywhere. So I do that at work. If anyone at work watches this, then they'll know the duck person is me. You're welcome. I wait till everyone's out of the office, and then I walk around. I leave one at every computer, and then the next day, everybody goes crazy wondering who left all the ducks.
You leave one on your own computer too, right? So you're not suspect.
Well, and my favorite move is when I'm back in the office after traveling for a while, I'll just walk up to somebody and go, "Hey, quit leaving ducks laying around," and then they go, "It's all me, bro." It's really funny. It's a good trick. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the show. It's more fun when there's viewers that leave funny comments because it keeps us going. But thanks for being on, and I hope you guys have a nice evening. Tom and I will be back soon to do a Smock giveaway.
Yeah.
We'll have to do another drawing next time.
Keep it moist.
Keep it moist, everybody. Have a moist December. Thanks, everybody.
Peace out.